Welcome back to Mysterious Case. First, I would like to express my condolences to Lilie James and her beloved family. She was a vibrant, talented girl with a bright future ahead of her. But sadly, now let's revisit the case together. And don't forget, live positively and strongly. Always treat those around you kindly. If you'd like to support us, please hit like and subscribe. Your encouragement is the positive energy that helps us improve. Thank you. Sydney is the largest and most famous city in Australia, located in the state of New South Wales. With a population of over 5 million, it is the country's economic, cultural, and tourism hub. Sydney is renowned for the iconic Sydney Opera House, with its unique shell-like design, and the majestic Sydney Harbour Bridge, where visitors can climb to enjoy a panoramic view of the city. The city also boasts stunning beaches like Bondi and Manly, attracting millions of tourists each year. Sydney is a multicultural metropolis, home to communities from all over the world, resulting in a rich culinary scene and a vibrant arts culture. With its mild climate and breathtaking scenery, Sydney is not only a great place to live, but also a dream destination for many. This place is considered one of the most livable cities in the world. However, in 2023, a horrific case shocked the community, leaving an indelible pain in the hearts of many. It's the story of Lilie James, a young woman full of energy and ambition, and Paul Tyson, a man once seen as successful but hiding a terrifying dark side. Their brief relationship ended in a tragedy no one could have foreseen. Lilie James was born on May 21, 2002 in Sydney, into a warm family with her parents, Jamie and Peter, and her older brother, Max. She grew up surrounded by love and was especially close to her grandmother, Barbara. Lilie was independent, cheerful, and always brimming with positive energy. After graduating from Danebank Anglican School for Girls in 2020, she pursued a degree in sports business at the University of Technology, Sydney. Not only was she an excellent student, but Lilie was also passionate about dancing, playing water polo, and working part-time as a water polo coach at St. Andrew's Cathedral School. With her loyal, humorous, and intelligent personality, she was cherished by friends, colleagues, and family alike. Paul Tyson, born in 1999 in the Netherlands, was the only son of a well-off family. His parents, Steph and Esther, were both successful in business. In 2015, the family moved to Sydney, where Paul attended St. Andrews and became the sports captain. After graduating from university in the Netherlands, he returned to Sydney in 2020, working as a cricket and hockey coach at St. Andrews, while pursuing a master's degree in teaching. Paul seemed like a promising young man. In September 2023, Paul and Lilie met at St. Andrews, where they both worked. A secret relationship began. The relationship between Lilie James and Paul Tyson began in September 2023, when they were both working at St. Andrew's Cathedral School. They kept their dating a secret, likely to avoid gossip from colleagues and students. Only a few close friends and family members knew about it. For Lilie, it might have been a chance to explore new feelings, but she soon realized Paul wasn't the man she had hoped for. Lilie was a vibrant young woman who always sought the best in every relationship, but after just a few weeks, she felt uneasy around Paul. Friends said she didn't find the joy or excitement that a new relationship typically brings. Meanwhile, Paul showed troubling signs. He was described as arrogant, controlling, and sometimes behaved oddly around others. Some students at the school had complained to friends that Paul made them feel uncomfortable, especially with how he paid excessive attention to younger female students. Old acquaintances also noted that he tended to look down on women and wasn't well liked by many male peers. After 5 weeks of dating, in early October 2023, Lilie decided to end the relationship. For her, it was the right choice to protect herself. But for Paul, it was a massive shock. He couldn't accept being rejected. Instead of respecting Lilie's decision, Paul let anger and frustration fester inside him. In the days following the breakup, he didn't try to better himself but seemed fixated on regaining control, a dangerous trait that no one recognized in time. Neither Lilie nor Paul could have foreseen that this breakup would trigger a horrifying chain of events. Just a few weeks later, on October 25, 2023, everything erupted in a way no one could imagine. Paul, with premeditated intent, turned his personal rage into a brutal act, leaving deep scars on Lilie's family and the entire Sydney community. 7 p.m., October 25th, 2023. After finishing work at St. Andrew's Cathedral School, she entered the bathroom in the school's gym area. Surveillance cameras captured her walking in, but no one could have known it would be the last time Lilie was seen alive. Paul Tyson, her former boyfriend, quietly followed her. What happened next was a nightmare. Inside the bathroom, Paul attacked Lilie with a hammer. The assault was prolonged and brutal, leaving Lilie's face unrecognizable. She was struck multiple times with signs of a struggle before she died. Paul remained at the scene for over an hour, possibly to cover his tracks or confront what he had done, before leaving after 8 p.m. The act was clearly premeditated. He had rented a silver Lexus beforehand, suggesting he intended to commit the crime and perhaps planned to take Lilie's body somewhere afterward. Meanwhile, Lilie's family grew anxious. She usually came home on time, but that night no one could reach her by phone. Her father, Jamie, became so worried that he reported her missing to the police. Around the same time, a strange message was sent from Lilie's phone to Jamie's, asking him to pick her up at the school. The message didn't sound like Lilie's usual way of speaking, heightening the family's distress. Jamie rushed to St. Andrew's, but the sight that greeted him left him frozen. The school was cordoned off by police with flashing lights everywhere. Earlier, at midnight, an anonymous call had tipped off the authorities about a body on the school grounds. When police arrived, they found Lilie dead in the bathroom, the victim of a savage murder. The news devastated every member of Lilie's family. After murdering Lilie James, Paul Tyson didn't stay at the scene, but quickly left St. Andrew's. At around 8:47 p.m. on October 25th, 2023, security footage from a house near Diamond Bay Reserve in Vaucluse, about 5 miles from the school, captured him driving the silver Lexus. He parked on the roadside, stepped out looking relatively calm, and carried a bag in his hand. 8 minutes later, he returned to the car, but this time without the bag. It's likely he discarded something. Police later found the hammer and some of his belongings in a nearby trash bin. Paul sat in the car for another 36 minutes, driving off at 9:49 p.m. 2 hours later, at midnight, he used his phone to call the police, anonymously reporting Lilie's body at the school. This act suggests he wanted her body to be found, but wasn't ready to face the consequences. Even more chilling, he had texted Lilie's father, pretending to be her, asking him to pick her up at the school. Investigators believe this was an attempt to mislead or delay the discovery of her body. Diamond Bay Reserve, where Paul was seen, is a stunning yet treacherous area with high cliffs and rough seas below, famously known as the Gap, a place where many have chosen to end their lives. After driving away from the camera's view, Paul parked the Lexus at a nearby lot. From there, his trail vanished. Police later found his AirPods near the cliff's edge, hinting that he had approached the drop. Meanwhile, the Sydney community began to buzz. News of Lilie's death spread rapidly, leaving her family, friends, and the school in shock. All eyes turned to Paul, who had disappeared. The police launched an urgent search, but what they uncovered next only deepened the tragedy. After leaving Diamond Bay Reserve on the night of October 25th, 2023, Paul Tyson seems to have decided to end it all. By the morning of October 27th, construction workers at the Gap discovered a body among the rocks at the base of the cliff. Police quickly deployed a helicopter and boats for retrieval, but strong winds and heavy waves made it challenging. By noon, the body was brought ashore. Though disfigured from the fall and the sea's impact, fingerprints and records from the Dutch embassy confirmed it was Paul. Near the cliff, they found a trash bin containing the hammer, the weapon used to kill Lilie, along with some of his personal items. The silver Lexus remained in the nearby parking lot, and Paul's AirPods were discovered on a rock, like a final trace he left behind. Everything suggests Paul jumped off the cliff after calling the police and texting Lilie's family. Perhaps he chose this way to escape accountability, leaving Lilie's family and the community with an unresolved pain. Paul's death made the case even more complex. He was the sole suspect in Lilie's murder, but now no one could ask him why or what drove him to such an act. Investigators believe Paul had significant control issues. His purchase of the hammer, renting the car, and sending fake texts as Lilie all point to premeditation. But what did he plan to do after killing her? Did he intend to hide her body and carry on as if nothing had happened? These questions will remain unanswered forever. Lilie's family, especially her parents, fell into despair. They not only lost their daughter, but also the chance to seek justice directly from Paul. Sydney's residents were equally stunned, wondering how someone like Paul, with a promising future, status, and career, could commit such a horrific tragedy. To better understand the case, the police reconstructed a timeline of the events leading to the deaths of Lilie James and Paul Tyson. It all began in mid-September 2023, when Lilie and Paul secretly started dating after meeting at St. Andrew's Cathedral School. About 3 weeks later, they visited a friend in Vaucluse, home to The Gap, where Paul would later take his own life. That location seemed to hold some special significance for him, though no one knows exactly why. But the relationship quickly soured. Lilie realized Paul was controlling and aggressive, not someone she wanted to be with. By early October, after 5 weeks of dating, she broke it off. Paul couldn't accept it, letting his anger simmer for days. On October 25th, he acted. That morning, he went to a hardware store to buy a hammer and rented the silver Lexus. Around 7 p.m., he arrived at St. Andrew's, where Lilie was working. Cameras captured her entering the gym bathroom, with Paul following. An argument ensued, ending with him brutally attacking her with the hammer. After spending over an hour at the scene, Paul left at 8 p.m., driving to Diamond Bay Reserve. There he discarded the hammer and other items in a trash bin, then called the police anonymously at midnight to report Lilie's body. He also sent a fake text as Lilie to her father. Over the next 2 hours, he made his way to the Gap Cliff and jumped, ending his life. His body was discovered the following morning, October 27th. This timeline shows Paul's actions were carefully planned, but his deeper motive, why he reacted so extremely to a brief breakup, remains unclear. The only certainty is that Lilie paid with her life for choosing to walk away from him. It sounds utterly senseless. The deaths of Lilie James and Paul Tyson left a profound wound in the hearts of their families, friends, and the Sydney community. On the morning of October 26, 2023, St. Andrew's Cathedral School announced it would close through the end of the week due to a serious incident. The school brought in psychologists to support students, teachers, and parents while relocating exams to another site. News of the murder spread rapidly, leaving people in shock. A beloved young teacher like Lilie being killed on school grounds was unprecedented in central Sydney. Lilie's family was plunged into despair. Her parents, Jamie and Peter, not only lost their daughter, but also faced the reality that Paul, the perpetrator, had taken his own life, taking all answers with him. They raised serious questions for St. Andrews, a prestigious school with fees exceeding $40,000 Australian dollars per year. Why was there no nighttime security? How could Paul attack Lilie for over an hour without anyone noticing? The family is considering suing the school to seek answers and compensation, hoping to improve safety measures moving forward. The community was equally shaken. Many remembered Lilie as a radiant girl who always supported her friends and students. Friends left heartfelt messages. "You could do anything, Lilie. Fly high. We'll miss you forever." Her funeral was held privately, with a portion live streamed for the school as a way for people to say goodbye. In contrast, Paul left behind a starkly different legacy. Once seen as an elite individual, he had concealed an extreme nature. The former St. Andrew's headmaster, Dr. Kia, sparked controversy by calling Paul a wonderful person, though he meant to highlight how dangerous individuals can sometimes be skilled at hiding their true selves. The case raised concerns about relationship violence in Australia. While the per capita rate of intimate partner homicides has decreased, the number of cases has risen due to a larger population. Lilie's story became a wake-up call, urging people to pay closer attention to safety and mental health in society. Paul Tyson could be seen as a young man with great promise. Born in 1999 in the Netherlands to a well-off family, he moved to Sydney with his parents in 2015. At St. Andrew's Cathedral School, he served as sports captain and was an active member of the student leadership team. After attending university in the Netherlands, He returned to Sydney in 2020, working as a cricket and hockey coach while pursuing a master's in teaching. Living in a share house in Kensington, his housemates described him as polite, though occasionally messy. Many adults viewed him as a hard-working young man with a bright future. But behind that polished exterior was a very different Paul. Some students at St. Andrews felt uneasy about how he overly focused on younger female students, even considering him creepy. Old friends noted his arrogance, controlling nature, and tendency to look down on women. These traits, narcissism, fragility, and a desire to manipulate others, were red flags. With Lilie, he likely initially drew her in with his confidence before his true self emerged. No one understands why Paul reacted so violently to Lilie ending their relationship. A 5-week romance, not particularly deep, drove him to plan a murder. Some suggest the 18 months of COVID-19 isolation impacted his psyche, but that falls flat. Millions of people, including us, went through the pandemic and remain here, decent and kind. His renting a car, buying a hammer, and sending fake texts reveal cold calculation. Some theorize he planned to hide Lilie's body and carry on as if nothing happened, only to pivot to suicide instead. After Paul's death, his family chose to cremate him and scatter his ashes in Sydney, not bringing him back to the Netherlands. Perhaps they too were stunned by their son's actions. Paul left behind a mystery. What turned a person of such potential into a ruthless killer? The Lilie James case is not just a personal tragedy, but a wake-up call for the entire community. Lilie, born and raised in Sydney, left a lasting mark on those who knew her. With her radiant smile and warm heart, she was a joy to her family, friends, and students at St. Andrews. She loved dancing, water polo, and poured her heart into her coaching work. Friends remember her as the best, kindest person they'd ever met, a vibrant soul gone too soon. Her death didn't just take away a loved one. It left people wondering, how can we stop tragedies like this from happening again? Paul Tyson, the one who caused this pain, remains an unsolved enigma. From a talented young man, he turned into a murderer simply because he couldn't handle rejection. His actions, from planning Lilie's murder to taking his own life at the Gap, reveal a twisted psyche that no one caught in time. Though he's gone, Lilie's family and the community still lack closure. Questions about his motives and what he planned after killing her will forever go unanswered. The case also raises broader issues about security and mental health. Lilie's family is right to question St. Andrews. How could a prestigious school lack the security to let an attack go unnoticed for over an hour? It's a costly lesson, pushing educational institutions to reassess their duty to protect staff and students. Beyond that, it's a reminder to society of the need to identify and support those with mental health struggles before they cause harm. Sydney remains beautiful and vibrant, but Lilie James is no longer here. Through the pain, people hope her story will spark positive change. From better security to greater awareness of relationship violence, Lilie deserves to be remembered not just as a victim, but as an inspiration to build a safer world. And once again, thank you for following along. See you in the next videos.